living in the moment, and the moment is the future.
Welcome to SPED Talk with Pam
and John,
also known as The Calm.
Before the Storm.
Our purpose is to elevate the conversation and amplify special education resources.
And our why is all about the kids. You know, Pam, there are so many organizations and people around Texas who are just making it happen for kids with disabilities.
So let's make this a platform to celebrate their efforts, because special education is about making the impossible possible.
Well, Pam, here we go. What are we doing? This is day 2, man. We're recording Sped Talk left and right these days. I'll tell you, it seems like we're recording more episodes now that we're Zooming than when we were doing that stuff face to face. Of course, it's always harder to kind of crisscross Texas and land in these different awesome spots, and you know, but I miss it. But here we go. Okay. We got some cool people on with us today.
Yes, we do, John. And so with us today, we have the Child Find Network, is also known as Network One. Is that correct,
yes.
Sarah?
Yes.
Okay, because that's what I hear. I mean, I just always said, well, Network One has a lot of things going on. So hopefully today you can share with us what's going on with the Child Find Network, or also known as Network One.
Awesome.
Yeah, and
thanks, Pam.
And that's, you know, it's child find, evaluation, and ARD support. So, I mean, it's really, you know, covering the gamut almost, you know, like what did we not throw in there? And so what an important statewide leadership network, Network One, is to our educators, probably families, students across the state. The networks for many years have provided just that extension of support and guidance and resources. And I think now more than ever, that alignment between the TEA, really the agency, and our networks is just shining through in the work that's coming out. So we're just so glad to have you guys on. We have another person on with us, Pam. Now we have Kara, right? Kara, pronounce your last name. Is Walensky?
That is spot on, John.
Boom. That's how I do it right there.
You got it. You got it.
And also we have Don Vanderheel from TEA on with us. You want to give a shout out, Don? Maybe not.
See, that's the reason that editing these things is so cool.
Good morning, everyone.
There we go.
Good morning.
Thank you, Don.
I am on satellite internet, so it's a little unstable, but good morning. We are so glad everyone's joining us, and hopefully we're going to provide some information to you today that'll help you as we start this new school year strong.
Absolutely. Right. Thanks, Dawn.
All right, Kara. So tell us about Network One.
As John said, our network is responsible for child find, evaluation, and ARD supports. So quite a bit on it. But our biggest purpose is really to collaborate with TEA in really providing supports and guidance to our public schools, our school districts and our charter schools, to really assist them with implementing strong, effective programs for students with disabilities, starting with the child find, public awareness, working with interagencies like early childhood intervention, ECI, working on comprehensive evaluations, and then transitioning into eligibility determination, and then effective and rigorous IEPs for students. So that's kind of our mission, our purpose is really to assist them.
Yeah, and so, you know, it seems like, if I remember correct, the Child Find, you know, Network One will not just deal with kind of notarizing, making sure people are aware of the fact that, you know, we have this responsibility to identify, right, to go out into our communities, our surrounding areas, you know, schools within their LEA boundaries, and really find those students that may have specific disabilities, and then to provide then that evaluation so that if that child it qualifies and is eligible for services, that child can receive special education, like we said, the IEP and the ARD supports that are appropriate for each kid. And so I really love the way TEA and the network chose to put not just Child Find, but kind of Child Find evaluation and ARD supports together, because they really are kind of that complete process, if you will, that a child experiences.
Yeah, that continuous process. And you know, another important point is, you know, not only for public schools, our, you know, LEAs, but also, you know, for parents, you know, collaborating with parents and including them throughout the entire process. So that's one of the other kind of missions or purpose of our network, is also to provide information for our parents and make sure that they you know, fully understand the process and can collaborate and participate through.
Okay. So who makes up the state leadership?
So our network is made up, of course, with a collaboration with TEA. So we have, you know, Dawn is our TEA contact. And so she and I are, you know, I guess you could say almost hooked at the hip. we collaborate quite a bit. So definitely TEA's collaboration. We also have representatives from each of the education service centers from around the state. Some of our service centers have one representative, others have two. And it's been last year it was the student evaluation or evaluation consultant for the ESC that was a member. This year we are expanding our membership and we are including speech language pathologist consultants from each ESC as well. Because they are an important part of this whole, you know, Child Find evaluation and ARD supports. And so this year we will have both the evaluation consultants and speech language pathologist consultants on our team. We also consult with a stakeholder group. So we have gotten recommendations and nominations and reached out to consultants and professors and LEAs across the state so that they can also provide us with some feedback, some input as to the direction and where we're going with this network.
Yeah, that's important. It's nice to get that stakeholder feedback. You want that kind of that feedback loop going on, I think, as you develop and continue to kind of grow the network, I'm sure. And so that's neat to know. You know, I love how we are really focusing more on not just the services and the rules and things like that for a child with disabilities, but also the experience that that child has in relation to, you know, success and effectiveness of services and such like that, but also the experience that the parents have in regards to invoking, you know, their rights to ensure their children receive these services. So yeah, that's good stuff. Pam, what were you going to say? I see you eyeballing me down there.
Oh, no, my dog was barking.
Oh, okay.
Make sure that was
Pam, what's your dog's name?
Jackson.
Jackson. Well, you better just tell Jackson to hush it.
So
I was worried about mine. She came in right before and sat here next to me, and I was like, oh no, please do it.
This is not going to work. Yeah.
No.
Mine are Great Danes. And they're out on the farm. And so I tell you, if they were barking, we would not be podcasting. We would not be sped talking.
Yep.
You know, you said, oh, go ahead, Pam.
Oh, I'm just going to ask, is there do you have a website?
Yeah, we sure do. It's called childfindtx.tea.texas.gov. And so we have information, web pages about Child Find, evaluation, ARD supports, virtual workshops that we offer, as well as a contact us page, which I don't know, there's pictures on it and my picture is not exactly, yeah. Anyway, so I wasn't too thrilled. I was like, can we do without the pictures? And no, we need to have the picture. And I'm like, really? Anyway,
Yeah, I understand that.
but this is a real important page because it puts you in contact with the Region 4 contacts, which is the grantee for the network, as well as how to find the contacts at each one of the ESCs. So when you click on it, it will bring up who you can contact at that particular ESC and ask them about any training or supports or technical assistance. So
who are you targeting with the website? I mean, is that primarily for educators in the state, but also for others, or?
It's a balance of not only staff of our public schools, but also parents. You know, when you click on the different, you know, pages such as About Child Find, I think that, you know, as far as just a general resource for parents to go to, and I think it's in a nice way that is understandable for anyone that's not in our field. So we tried to not use acronyms unless we've described what they are. And so I think it's a good balance as far as a resource for both LEAs and parents.
That's great.
Now, you also mentioned you have virtual trainings on the website. Could you share some of the training with us?
So last year we offered and recorded 3 virtual workshops. So we did them live, and then afterwards we posted the recording. So participants could join us for the live version, and then if they couldn't, they could access the recording afterwards. Additionally, this year we are offering 5 virtual workshops, and so you know, anyone is welcome to sign up, and we will get the ones posted for this school year up there hopefully in the next week or so, and then people can start registering. But yes, we offer live virtual workshops and then the recordings of them.
Can you tell me what the topics are?
Sure. So the very first one that we did was evaluating dysgraphia in the FIE, which is kind of a hot topic right now. And that was provided by Cherry Lee, who is the director of the Reading Academies at TEA. And so she did a great job of, you know, walking through how to look for those dysgraphia domains, and really looking at a comprehensive evaluation for that within the FIE. Our second one was documenting growth in the FIE by Dr. Murty Gomez, who is a professor at Sam Houston State University. And it was really looking at how to look at data and document growth, because sometimes that doesn't show up in just standard scores from you know, from evaluation to evaluation. So that was a good way of really looking at your data and determining the growth that the student has made since the last evaluation. And then we did one in February on ARD 101. So I provided that. And it was basically an overview of the understandings of the different types of committee meetings, mutual agreement, membership, participation, almost everything that you would need to know as far as basics for ARDs. This coming year, we are actually scheduled to have 5 workshops. One is going to be on evaluations during this next school year. So we have 2 very respectable consultants, Dr. Gail Sheremy and Dr. Andrea Oganowski, who are really going to be looking at how do we do an evaluation, you know, during this next school year. Our next one is going to be on virtual ARD meetings. So what do we do to make that happen and still stay in compliance and make sure that everything is being done the way that it should be? We're also going to be doing one on triangulating data in the FIE, writing impact and need statements for students, And then our last one's going to be on reads and reevaluation. So that review of existing evaluation data and how does that fit into a child's 3-year reevaluation.
Yeah, I think as a former director of special education, I think how like if I was still sitting in that chair and trying to manage that chaos, right, that so often is that job, right now I would, in hearing what you're saying, every one of my assessment staff, support staff would be tuning into this stuff, because while so often you think this is basics information, and we should know these things, so much of this goes to professional judgment. It goes to that subjectivity. It goes to that gray area of what we do in assessment. And I think a lot of people really just need examples and need to watch and listen and hear and even join in that conversation. And so I think these are just amazing resources you're talking about.
Thanks. We appreciate it. Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head, John, is that, given the circumstances that we've been in this year, we are definitely, as evaluators, going to have to rely more on our professional judgment as we move into evaluations. And so we just want to support them in doing that.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Dawn, you going to jump in? I know you've got something to add to this conversation.
We want our schools, our ARD committees, our evaluators to feel supported. Mm-hmm. There's such energy and hope as we start the 2020-2021 school year. Nobody is denying the challenges. Mm-hmm. And we're called upon to be flexible the way we've not been before. It's been enough to learn the traditional ways to do things.
Yes, yes.
And now we're gonna flex. We're gonna flex. And that's challenging. Mm-hmm. But no, I want everyone to know they're not in this alone. We're here to support and guide. Do the right thing. Mm-hmm. And in the end, out. Our big message, probably to our evaluators and our ARD committees, we've always said, make data-based decisions. Mm-hmm. And that's almost become such a phrase. It just rolls off our tongue and we don't think about it.
Yeah.
I think we're going to get better at looking at a variety of sources of information to make our decisions. And we've needed to do that. Mm-hmm. And frankly, these circumstances are going to force us to get better at something we probably needed to get better at anyway.
That's right.
Do the information come together to support what we're deciding? So this is a fantastic network. It is one that owns my heart, owns the agency's heart. Mm-hmm. We have wonderful people involved. And if we can't answer the questions for you, and sometimes we can't, we will go looking for the answers for you. We'll make that commitment to you. So I really want to celebrate Kara and her team, and actually all of our network representatives at the 20 service centers. They are awesome, energetic folks that positive attitude. We can do this. We may stumble, but we can do this. So yes. We're absolutely here to support.
Yeah, I think Dawn hit it on the head as well, is that everyone that's involved with this network is super passionate.
Yes.
About child find, evaluation, developing, effective and rigorous IEPs for students with disabilities. I mean, that is one thing I do have to say, not only just about the, Region 4, network team, but everyone that's involved, all of the representatives from the ESCs, we're passionate about this. And so I think that's what drives us.
So if I was a parent, which I am, come think about that, what would you all want me to know as far as evaluation and child find goes? Especially if I'm concerned, counsel our situation, and, my child might be struggling.
Mhm.
And I really, it might have been struggling prior to COVID. And I've been pondering whether or not to have my child evaluated.
Mhm.
But I really think now we possibly might need to do that. So what would you tell a parent who's just kind of wanting information, to make that decision whether or not to go forth with an evaluation?
Mhm.
Great question. Yeah.
That is, and that was a question that I would get repeatedly, long before I became the lead of the network, and even before I was working at the Education Service Center, as an evaluator and specialist in the districts.
Mm-hmm.
I think that the most important thing is that parents need to know that we are here to help and support the children. And if they have any questions whatsoever about the process, or like you said, even just considering, do I ask for an evaluation? Does my child need to be evaluated?
Mm-hmm.
I think the first thing is, reach out to your school district, or if you don't know who that is or who to reach out to, you can always contact us and we'll connect you with who you need to talk to. But I think just reaching out and getting in contact with the school district and having them walk through the process. I mean, the staff and the LEAs are wonderful, and that's what we're here to do, is to support them in supporting parents. So I think just being able to have those conversations.
Dawn, do you have anything else specific, maybe from an agency perspective, or that you might want to share?
One of the activities the network is going to be rolling out in October. It's a very quick timeline. We are going to offer online training that could be accessed at any time for what we're calling ARD managers. Now, certainly, of course, LEAs may, or that's mine, may or may not.
That's funny.
May or may not choose to use this model.
Yeah.
But with the volume of evaluations, there will be an evaluation shortage, no doubt.
Yes.
One way to address that would be to train, we used to call them ARD facilitators, and we've gone with ARD managers.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to be online. There's competency checks. You could hire an ARD manager and put them through this training at any time in the school year. And it is not about how to operate the software management system. If you're an LEA and you use a software management system, you'll need to get that software company to train the person.
Sure.
That will not be our role.
Yeah.
Our role, and this has been the criticism, just because you know how to work the software doesn't mean you have a deep understanding of the ARD process.
That's right.
And that's what this is going to address. Kara, you're back on. I'm going to let you pick it up from there. I was just previewing ARD manager training in October.
Okay, I apologize. I have no idea what happened.
No, not a problem.
All of a sudden, everybody was gone.
Yeah,
like, what?
We were like, where did she go? She just vanished. No, that happens. I mean, that's just
something
part
John
of this,
said?
this
Welcome
Zoom world.
to the virtual world.
Welcome to the virtual world.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So we had just asked Dawn if there was anything specific, from an agency perspective that she wanted to share. And she talked about kind of the online trainings that we're going to roll out for ARD managers. I would presume that, if an LEA had ARD quote facilitators, they could let them do these courses, and yeah. And what if you're a smaller rural school and you have a diagnostician, but you would like the diagnostician, maybe they're young and they don't have that much experience. You want them to go through these courses and learn the process more.
Oh, absolutely. I think anyone that is involved in the ARD process, period, I think the modules would be beneficial. But yes, particularly for those that their position is an ARD manager or facilitator, as some LEAs choose to identify, or if you're an educational diagnostician, speech language pathologist, SSP, and you are going to basically be in charge of running an ARD, these might be modules that you want to participate in, so that you can, get a deeper understanding of the process. And the way that the team has set up the modules is really to kind of walk you through. It starts with that basics ARD 101, and then it moves into what are the processes throughout the year. So to start the year, how do you, what do you need to know? What do you need to be prepared for? Those basics. And then it moves all the way through to, close the school year. So I think it would be beneficial to anyone that's involved in the ARD process.
Yeah, I would agree with you, Carol, because one thing, I've kind of noticed is that people know, if they have the management system, they know the part they fill out, but they don't know the whole process.
Right.
And then when you start having conversations from the process of the ARD, not what you just fill out, not the goals or objectives, not the transition piece, it's like, okay, they don't have the full picture. And that's a sad thing about those IEP management systems and the way the districts choose to use them, because it's not really teaching the whole process. And I think even for new teachers or even veteran teachers, who have never really sat down and went through the whole process of an ARD meeting, the whole taking the document from beginning to end, there's value in that.
Yes.
That's where I got started. So that's, and I know, John, I'm old as rock, but
I love every bit of it.
But it makes a difference when you have those conversations with parents.
Yes.
For sure. Yeah, that's probably the most important piece. And as you mentioned, our teacher preparation programs, whether that's through a university or through, an alternative certification, and then also our evaluator preparation programs. I know from experience that the ARD process and all that's involved in that is not explicitly taught.
Nope.
So I think that this is a good opportunity, like I said, for anyone that's involved in the ARD process to, kind of refine those skills.
Right.
And I think that will just make for, better collaboration with parents and make for a smoother process.
Well, those courses, do those come with CEUs? Like, can they do those and get CEUs for them? Yeah.
Yes. So the way that it's going to be set up is that there will be modules to be completed. And so then they will get credit hours for each module. Now, to get a completion of the whole, okay, now you're an ARD manager, or you
like an endorsement. Yeah.
Like, sort of, yeah. And so they would have to complete all of the modules in order to get that final piece. But you could, we could set it up to, that you could just take, this portion, but it is really designed to be an entire course.
Yeah, a comprehensive set of modules that build that knowledge of that
Correct.
Practitioner.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, that is fabulous. Well, I know for years, I feel like we've had practitioners out in the field and teachers and that just have wanted examples. They've wanted that additional training, specific training, not just professional development on, these general processes, or information, but more specific to their area of expertise, to their daily routine, to their specific skill sets that they need to be refining and mastering. And so that's one of the things I think we're hearing more and more from these networks, is that obviously is a lens that our statewide leadership networks is begun to focus and really project information and resources out across the state. thinking about, the I think about how we're kind of in this third year right now, ending the third year of this whole SPED redesign, kind of at the state level. I'm a strong believer that we always find the silver linings. Something good always comes from our struggles. And we struggled a lot in Texas. We focused a lot on procedural compliance, and we focused a lot on, we did what we thought we were needed to be doing. And we've kind of moved into this new effectiveness phase with Andrew F. and with with ESSA versus No Child Left Behind. And it's just a different approach to meeting the needs of students in general, and even more so with regard to students with disabilities. And so, this network specifically, I'm sure, has been informed or maybe even guided in some ways by the corrective actions that TEA has been under, and by the special ed strategic plan. And so can y'all just talk a little bit about that?
Absolutely. Like you said, I mean, the way I view this, like you said, John, is silver lining. Yes, we had some struggles, and we went through some hard times, and they were like, oh, gritting our teeth. But I think on this other side, we are changing things the better of our students with disabilities, period.
Mm-hmm.
And I think our network in particular was created and continues to work based on the corrective action plan from the Department of Education and TEA's strategic plan. I mean, that's really where this all began. But we continue to look at the data. I mean, we continue to look at the data that the LEAs submit as far as, state performance plan indicators. I mean, really, when I look at all of the SPP indicators, it's kind of like we really touch on all of them, FAPE, LRE, initial evaluations, even disproportionality. All of those are, we're touching on.
Mm-hmm.
And then we also are using the review and support data to help guide us into, what do the public schools, what do the LEAs need from us?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's one of our main focus is, what can we do to support those campuses, those LEAs, in making things better for students with disabilities. I think that everything we do is informed and guided what is happening with our data regarding students.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's huge. I think more and more we've talked about, and in many ways, we've focused on certain specific sets of data in schools for many years, and we've looked at, achievement outcomes on STAR assessments and tax assessments and TOS assessments and TEAMS assessments and, all that kind of stuff. And that's evolved over time. But I think now more than ever, we're going beyond that. And we're saying, look, we do have high expectations for students with disabilities, right? Just because I have a learning disability doesn't mean that I shouldn't learn to read and close those gaps on some of these deficit areas, right? It just means that I'm going to learn different. I'm going to learn, maybe at a different pace and things like that. But the idea that we go beyond that achievement data to the outcomes data, really looking at, what does this mean for a child over the course of their life? And how do we ensure that, like what you said is in that ARD process, we understand that process globally so that we ensure there's that thread that goes through that thing, and that it just isn't aligned with those needs of that child, those interests of that child, those deficits of that child, those strengths of that child, so that on the other side of this whole thing we call public education, there's a bright future. And that this baby gets to go out and become whatever that is that God wants that child to become. So I feel like that's what I get excited about every time I talk to one of our networks, and even touch base with people like Dawn at TEA. And, we are living in some strange, unique times, but it's hopeful. There's change. There's real change occurring across our state. To be part of that is so invigorating.
Oh, yeah. I would say that that's what keeps me going every day.
Yeah.
And also, just the opportunities now.
Yeah.
Even for kids who struggle to be in a classroom, to be still and to sit down in a classroom, and now having this online environment where they actually might learn better at home, or or in front of a computer, or where they could hear it more than once. Or and I think one thing, when we think of when we did the interview with the Inclusion Network, and really thought about teachers now are thinking more inclusively about how to design lessons.
Yeah.
And that's going to benefit students who learn differently.
Yes.
And students with learning disabilities, because it's not these, stand and get my information and I'm going to, you learn it or not.
Yeah.
Whereas now, when you're planning lessons, you have really, as we talked about, universal design, that you're designing for all learners. And I think, even thinking about universal design, even when we think about going to the ARD meetings and really talk about, that looking at, drafting an IEP based on that universal design model. Now I'm really throwing it way out there now, but I think it has to do with really looking at uniqueness of each learner. And, one thing, parents complained about was my child IEPs look the same every year. I don't see the difference. I don't see where it is individualized. Why are we still working on a task that doesn't really matter if John knows how to tie his shoes? You don't
got boots on.
Yeah, we don't buy him shoes with
Velcro. Yeah, I got boots.
He's not allowed to have shoestrings. He can't be trusted.
That's for sure.
So, I just think sometimes we get bogged down.
Yeah.
In the past, I think we've gotten bogged down and really trying to think about, now it's time to really think about, how do we reach for the sky with kids and give them the opportunity to learn, hope that makes sense. I know that was me going out there.
I think it does. I think, like we've said, just even over the past couple of years, we were talking about, the corrective action plan and, the strategic plan. And even now with, the COVID circumstances and things like that, is that, yes, as we're going through it, we're like, oh my gosh, but to think of it as an opportunity to change and to look at things differently, I think is really where I like my mindset to be, and so again, this virtual environment, this virtual instruction and learning environment, I think is an opportunity for us as educators to, think outside the box and to, kind of think about, well, maybe this is a more appropriate environment for the student, or maybe, we learn things about our students, in situations like this. And so I think you're right. I think it's an opportunity for us to learn and develop, what's most appropriate for students.
Yeah. And even going through even the ARD meetings, I know we've had, people who have said, their ARDs have been more productive going virtually because now, parents don't have to travel to the campus. They don't have to take off work.
They're in the safety of their home.
Right. And
they're not as vulnerable. We're all a little bit less vulnerable. And who would think that technology would actually bring us, you think about how technology, they say it dehumanizes, right? But really, it seems like it's serving to humanize. Pam, go ahead. I didn't mean to jump in there.
Oh, you did too. So, and I think, also one thing is that, with parents, what we're saying, that teachers are able to read the screen. That if a parent doesn't understand something that's being said, they can see it in their face and they can go back and clarify. Whereas you miss the nuances sometimes when you're in a meeting and getting how the room is set up, and whether or not you look at the side of a parent face, or you're not even seeing the parent face, because there's so many people in the room.
That's right. That's a great point, Pam.
So,
Yeah, just proximity to each other, and really and truly, you know, you think about it, we all have our own nervous, anxious energy. We all have our own values and beliefs and needs and wants and goals, and so often I think when we're in a room together, that stuff sometimes it guides us in the right direction and allows us to, but other times I think it might cloud a little bit our ability to really be transparent and be vulnerable and be open and reflective and want to learn about others, because we are just feel like we just have to fight for what we need. And so in this setting, maybe even just this 1 degree of removal, you know, it allows us to kind of be comfortable in our skin and at the same time be engaged collaboratively in a process. And yeah.
But also it's an even playing field.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have to come to your house.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
You know, I didn't have to come to your place. You know, I could stay at home. You were wherever you are. You could be at home or at school.
Yeah.
But I'm not subjected to having to drive and be in a room with quote unquote people who know more than I.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Whereas, you know, as I always said, each parent is their child expert.
Yeah.
You know, they see them in more light than we do in education.
Well, I'm going to make a plug for our second virtual workshop, and it is how to conduct virtual ARD meetings. Yes, of course, the process is the same,
Mm-hmm.
but to remind us, for new people, there's a unique etiquette to virtual ARD meetings.
Mm-hmm.
We will be talking about things, and that's why that's going to be our second
I've
workshop.
never had this many issues.
Don't even stress it.
Oh my
So guys, I feel like we've had a great conversation. I feel like there's some amazing stuff going on in Network One. You know, child find, evaluation, ARD supports, the video vignettes, you know, is there anything else about the network, the website, the resources that you want to get out there to parents or to teachers or to administrators or evaluation staff? Anything else that you're thinking, man, oh, we need to mention this, you know, before we kind of wrap this thing up?
Stay tuned. The network will be publishing some new materials very shortly.
Great.
Yeah, and I would say, you know, stay in connection with your ESC rep, and so you know, definitely visit our webpage and, you know, go to the contact us, find out who your network representative for your region is, and stay in contact with them, because that's, you know, that's kind of our connection to the state, is through our ESC reps. So we are, you know, constantly meeting with them, and sharing information. So they are definitely well prepared for, you know, providing any technical assistance or support. And then also, you know, like Dawn said, you know, check back with us, check back with our website, to see what we've added as far as virtual workshops and trainings, and any kind of guidance or, you know, quick guides or something that might provide that support, you know, for, you know, like I said, both school districts, charter schools, and for parents and families.
Absolutely.
And what is the website again?
It is childfindtx.tea.texas.gov.
Got it. And we'll make sure we drop that hyperlink in the episode as well.
Well, we appreciate that. Yeah.
Dawn, I mean, Kara, I mean, if you guys have anything in the future that you want to highlight on SPEDTalk, just drop us an email and we can jump back on.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that would be fantastic. Yeah.
Absolutely. If you've got some
one and done.
hot resources or upcoming vignettes, and you want to jump back on and kind of cameo them, we'd love to have you guys back.
Oh, that would be fantastic. Yes, because that's one of our things that we're going to be working on this year is, you know, year was just kind of getting our feet wet and, you know, finding out where the needs lie and start to work on some things. But this second year, we're ready to roll, and we're ready to get the word out to, you know, all of our LEAs and parents and families. So we appreciate that.
Absolutely. Well, we've loved having you guys on, and I think this is going to be a fabulous episode of Sped Talk. So Dawn, Kara,
I
thank you
apologize
so
again
much.
for my
No need to. John will edit this.
Yep.
You'll be surprised.
And that's just called Zoom, Zoom, Zoom. That's the world we live in these days.
Right. Well, we appreciate the opportunity. We really do. You know, we want to let everyone across the state know that we're here to support and guide and, you know, do what is asked of us.
Absolutely. We're better together. And I feel like TEA and ESCs and LEAs, and like we're really starting to figure out that really we're not so different. We're all just kind of cut from the same cloth, and we're all really trying to accomplish the same things, and that's to take care of our kids and give them every opportunity in the future. So thank y'all for coming on. Pam, what do you got? Anything else?
No, I think that's it. And thank you.
All right. Well, thank you all. This has been a great episode. Y'all have a wonderful day.
All right. You too. Thank you.
Right. You're welcome.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
To continue to elevate the conversation, hit us up on Twitter at SPEDTalk 2020, where you can find links to all of our episodes and each of the resources that we discussed today.
John also links to the resources will be available at our podcast site.
And if you found these resources helpful, be sure to share them with a friend, because information should always flow through us, not to us.
That will do it for this episode of Sped Talk.
And remember, courage creates culture and kindness keeps us connected.
Until the next time, I'm Pam.
And I've been John.
And this is
Sped Talk.
Elevate the conversation.